Live from the Microsoft 365 Development Biweekly Call. Today is January 20th, 2022. My name is David Warren with Catapult, and I will be your host. The agenda for today, we're going to cover the latest on a number of PnP initiatives, PnP Framework and Core SDK, PowerShell, Yo Teams, Microsoft Graph Toolkit, the latest on Team samples and Power Platform samples, and of course, the ever-popular Together mode. We're all going to wave hello to the community. And then our rock stars of the day, Stephen on getting started on building a Microsoft Teams bot with Yo Teams. Andre is going to cover Microsoft list formatting with some challenges and solutions. And then Natalie and Ryu are going to give us an update on the independent publisher connectors and the GoQR connector demo. So it's going to be really, really awesome. What are some opportunities that you have to participate in the community, you may wonder? Well, there are plenty. We would love to see you demonstrate a solution or a technical pattern on one of these calls. In fact, we even have a opportunity for you to provide that information if you would like via a form. So you can fill that out. They're very relaxed, and so we would love to see that opportunity for you to display those in a demo. And even if you'd like some help, we'll talk about that in a little bit. You may want to contribute some of samples that you've created in GitHub. We appreciate that. As you'll see on our next slide, we've got a number of opportunities for you to do that with. And then, of course, we always provide and appreciate you providing feedback, whether it be constructive or just positive feedback, letting us know that you enjoy these calls and the work that everyone is working so hard with in the community. So please don't hesitate to let us know. What are some of those resources that you may ask about? Well, we have got a plethora. We've got a number of videos, Microsoft 365 developer videos and community videos, all available via YouTube on demand at any time you may want to learn more about the Microsoft landscape. We've got open source initiatives via multiple GitHub accounts, via SharePoint, PnP, Office Dev, Microsoft Graph. Within all those, we've got a number of sample galleries around team samples, SPFX samples, Power Platform samples, SPFX extensions, list formatting, aces, and more. Oh my. But where do you get them all? You do not need to remember all of these URLs. Only one, aka.ms/m365, will take you to the landing page of our Microsoft 365 community website, where you can access all of the wonderful things that are available to you within this community. Among them are one of our newest and most popular repositories, script samples. Paul Bullock heads this up. Paul, tell us more.
Hi everybody, PnP script samples are site for sharing scripts where you automate tasks within 365. So this could be with the CLI or PnP PowerShell, SPA management shell. So any sort of PowerShell script or Bash script can be submitted to this site as a sample where you can automate these tasks and you get the scripts and things like that. We've made some enhancements to the site, so I've improved the search capability where you can search for a particular set of samples, capture the URL, and be able to share that without having to refine the samples as well if you're navigating back and forth. Also refine the filters a bit further so you can help find it. But if there's any improvements in that space, by all means, head over to the issues list and post any suggestions. I'd love to make the experience much more smooth for everybody. Another thing that we have done as well is integrated this into the sample solution gallery. So you'll see these samples appear there as well. So if you navigate either to this site or that, then you can find the samples and you can navigate to the pages. So we've got a few news areas. We've got 4 news areas and 3 script updates, which is super, super awesome with PnP PowerShell and the CLI as well. And in some cases, enhancements to the CLI to make the scripts more flexible, which is absolutely cool. I'd like to thank you for all the new samples from the contributors. So Aslan Warshek, Chandani Pajapiti, Ganesh Sanap, Kunji Barish, Krishna Sangini, Casper Berlarson, Leon Armstrong, and Reshmi Akalu. Absolutely awesome stuff that you've been doing there with the sample submissions. We've also introduced as well a new badge. So David will talk about that in a sec. So we've got a new badge for the script sample. So if you submit a sample and apply for a badge, but you must opt in. So that's something to remember if you do that. Head over to AKMS/script samples to get more information about that. Over to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. And well done to all those. Again, you're going to see those badges out in the wild, and you can learn how to register for them in a moment. Now, you may want to get more involved in using as well as contributing back to our community, but we understand there may be hurdles. The Sharing is Caring program is here to provide you hands-on assistance at no cost in safe space environments. You can see we have a wide spectrum of topics from first-time contributor, if you've never used GitHub, to maybe Power Platform contributions, to presenting on these calls. A wide spectrum, again, all safe space opportunities, hands-on. We're going to work alongside with you to make sure you are set up for success. Of course, we have our AMAs that have been so popular and very collaborative. Two coming up, PnP React Controls and Microsoft Graph and MGT. So get registered for those, with even more coming soon. Don't hesitate. We've got plenty of sessions available for you to register for. Now, as Paul had mentioned, we want to celebrate and recognize all the amazing work that you are doing in the community, and we are starting to do that in a formal way. We kicked this off last year in 2021. It was so successful. It's going to be even better this year in 2022. These badges are powered by Credly, and they showcase the amazing work that you're doing. Credly means that they are going to sit right alongside the same badges you get for your Microsoft certification exams. So they are official. You can associate them in LinkedIn, share them in Twitter, put them on your website. Again, no cost to you. We do need you to opt in, though, so that we can tie back your account to the contributions that you make. Again, all free, aka.ms/m365pnp-recognition. We hope to see your opting in there so that we can continue to celebrate all the amazing work. Our Microsoft 365 platform call, scheduled for the 25th of January, is coming up on that date, Tuesday, that is next week. Again, this is a platform call, which means that all the presenters are from Microsoft, so you're getting it directly from the source. The topics for next week from Arvind is latest with Microsoft Graph connectors. Patrick Rogers is going to cover building Viva Connections extensibility, a popular topic. And of course, Sebastian Levert has been covering Introduction to Microsoft Graph Toolkit, covering all the components there that you can see and take advantage of. Don't hesitate. This is one of the best new calls in the community. Take advantage of getting all the information directly from the source. Now let's move into PnP.NET libraries, and for that, I'll hand it over to Bert.
Thank you, David. What happened on the PnP.NET side? For PnP framework, it's the usual rhythm of merging pull requests from community, kind of maintaining the library. And for that, I would like to thank Gautam, Christian, John, and Florian for their PRs that I have been merging over the last weeks. So great work, guys. Thank you for that. On the core SDK side, we finished branding manager support. So everything that you can do from the SharePoint branding experience, like if you go to update the branding of your site, of your modern site, you can do now programmatically. We had a couple of bug fixes for paging and list item handling. Several Blazor updates, so people are starting to use PnP SDK in Blazor WebAssembly applications, and they found some small things which we fixed. Thanks, Andreas, for some of the Blazor fixes. Focus next week's, I would say, is on further improving PnP SDK. There will be support for Viva Connections coming from Marcin. And we're still working on the admin and transformation libraries to complete those to be ready for a GA version of those particular libraries. Overall usage is still growing, crossing 90,000 plus tenants using .NET each month, which is massive. So thanks everyone for that. And then, yeah, I think that kind of sums it up, David. Here we are, PowerShell. PowerShell, I think one key milestone is that we crossed like the 100 million commandlet executions per day. Looking at the figures, it's just country-wise, just for fun. US was leading, but then the Netherlands were the second one, which is kind of surprised given it's a relatively small country compared to others. But so way to go, Netherlands. I'm from Belgium, so it's a little bit different. I would love to say Belgium, but no. Okay, never mind. But overall, PowerShell is evolving. And the team behind it is doing a ton of bug fixes and helping answer questions, while at the same time they're still working on the V2 version, which will be .NET 6 based and using the latest PowerShell 7.2 version. Usage there was also great, 25,000 plus tenants, so still growing after all these years. We're still growing it, so all great. All right, back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Bert. Astounding numbers there. That 100 million per day. That just shows the amazing use of the community. So thank you all. All right, let's move into Yo Teams. And for that, we're going to call up Stephen.
Thanks, David. I wish I could also speak about those numbers. Ours are a bit smaller, but still we see a lot of growth in the usage of Yo Teams and the packages we offer. We're still on the version 3.5.0. We're a bit lagging behind with the features we wanted to put in and the next release we wanted to do. But still, in 3.5.0, we mainly focused on improving telemetry stuff. And we also introduced a new bot template, which we'll see in a minute in my demo as well. And as for now, we're working on 4.0 preview version, which actually allows us to use the Teams JavaScript SDK 2.0, which is promise-based, and then also allows you to build not only Teams applications with your Teams, but you can also build tabs for Outlook and Office.com. So you can reuse your tabs in Teams and then serve them in Outlook and on Office.com as well. And on the roadmap, we have a lot of stuff to do, apart from integrating more and more CLI tools and comments. We also figured out we want to integrate the Microsoft Graph Toolkit components into Yo Teams, and we are working with SEP to at least have some kind of documentation outlined on how to use MGT in Yo Teams natively. And also for the other packages like Yo Teams Build Core, we mainly fixed some issues and bugs. We have one item on our list which is coming from Paul, mainly giving us the opportunity to inject or do more options in terms of gulp inject tasks and stuff like that. But as said, we're kind of in the planning phase for our next versions and releases, and so hopefully next time we can announce some more features and improvements around that.
Awesome. Very, very cool stuff. Love the overlapping integration with MGT. Should be getting into everything. So applaud you and Seb and the whole team. Very, very cool stuff. And speaking of MGT, let's hand it over to Sebastian, where snow is still falling in the east.
Yes, it is. Minus 32 this morning here, Celsius. Good morning, everybody. Microsoft Graph Toolkit is going through really cool enhancements these couple of days. One of them, and I would love you to start having a look, we have integrated the Graph Toolkit with TeamsFx. TeamsFx is now providing capabilities that makes authentication so easy, totally supported within an SSO context, and automatically works with MGT. So really, really cool stuff happening on the authentication front. What's next? We're going to have a next release at the end of January, so we're on track for this. Lots of accessibility capabilities, a couple of new bugs that we have covered right there. And we always need your help. So we're more than happy if you want to go to aka.ms/mgt/issues. There's a bunch of issues that are good first issues if you want to start contributing to MGT. Please go there. And there's a couple of feedback that we're looking for around our search component that we're looking at and our picker component. And if you want to live in the future a little bit, you can always try our next packages by leveraging our v2.3.2 and our next major release, which is also currently being built, which is our v3. So feel free to jump in, come contribute, and have fun with MGT.
Awesome. Thanks, Seb. Very, very cool stuff. Encourage everyone to get involved. And remember, we've got an AMA coming up, so you could always ask more questions. Let's move over to Microsoft Teams samples. We have no new samples to show off this week, but we absolutely encourage you to submit your samples. There are a ton of opportunities. We'd love to see them. And if you're not sure how to do that, again, sharing is caring. Reach out to any one of us. We would love to help you. So please don't hesitate. Let's move over to Power Platform samples now with April Dunham. April.
Thank you, David. Yeah, we have several new Power Platform samples going on here. So we have a COVID vaccine survey app from Siddharth. We have an employee tip of the day flow. We have a good mix of Power Apps and Flow samples here, an icon button component, a JSON object, a PowerFX table. And I don't know if any of you out there are as obsessed with Wordle as I am, but I'm so obsessed with it that I created a Power Apps version of Wordle so that we can play more than once a day to your heart's content. So that's out there as well. So definitely encourage more samples that you have all across the Power Platform stack. You can go to aka.ms/Power Platform-samples to see what we have. And we have more people helping to process these PRs too. So hopefully they should be processed a little bit faster when you submit them. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, April. Give me just one second. I'm trying to figure out my Wordle of the day. So no, I'm just kidding. Very, very cool. It's a hot item. Go check out that Power App. Awesome stuff from the community. Thank you, April, and everyone else. All right, now it's time for our optional picture time. So we're going to hand it over to Vesa.
Yep, I'm here.
See if
I'm
that
here.
works.
Seems to be working. So we are good. Let me share my screen and let me go to get a mode picture over there. Let's wait a few more seconds to fill in the 50. I'm going to start the recording. Don't wave. Let's not wave yet. Let's get everybody on the room. We have 50 seats in the auditorium. Not yet. One more row at least available. One more. I'm not going to enable video from me. There's no value for me being on the screen for sure. I guess that's it.
That's not true. That's not true. We love to see that.
Thank you, David. But I guess that's it. Let's do some hand waving, everybody. Thanks you for joining once again on this awesome community. Brilliant to have you on this call. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll grab a GIF animation out of this one. Awesome. Really cool to see the real faces once again. It's better than nothing for sure, comparing the pandemic situation where we don't see people face to face. And I love the dancing on the back. Thank you, Zeb, and other people as well. Really, really cool. Good. So David, let's move back on your screen.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to move into our rockstar presenters of the day. We're going to begin with Stephen Bitzer, getting started on building a Microsoft Teams bot with Yo Teams. Stephen, take it away.
Thank you, David. So what I'd like to do the next couple of minutes is to introduce you on Yo Teams and how to use it. So as we said, Yo Teams is like the Teams app generator. So you can build Teams apps nowadays, which offer a variety of features. You can build tabs, you can build bots, you can build messaging extensions, connectors, and so on and so forth. And therefore, Yo Teams actually should provide you, let's say, with a kind of scaffolding solution and some kind of guidance to give you a quick start on your Microsoft Teams development. So if you haven't, just install npm and then install npm install -g or global generator -teams. And after that, you should be able to use it. And the way you use it is kind of simple. Within your favorite terminal, may that be on Windows or on Linux or on Mac, just type in Yo Teams in a folder where you want to actually scaffold a new Microsoft Teams project. And then it should basically ask you some basic questions around your Teams application. So first off, solution name. Then if you want to use the current folder or if you want to create a new one, the title of your project, your company name or your actual name. Then you can play around with the manifest versions. So you have the choice of using either one of the more older manifest versions like 1.8 or the newest one, which is 1.11. And we were planning to deprecate at least some of the old ones because we see that they're hardly ever used. Or if you want to test out preview features, you can also go along with the dev preview version, which offers you more functionality in terms of your Teams application. So you pick and choose one of the manifest versions, and then you can actually choose if you want to do a quick scaffolding or if you want to get asked all the questions which are in there. For the sake of simplicity, I'll pick the quick scaffolding because I don't want to get into too much detail. And then this is kind of the most important question being asked: which type of application do you want to build? Do you want to build a tab? Do you want to build a bot? Do you want to build both? So you basically pick and choose whatever functionality your Teams application should have. And for the sake of this demo, we'll go with a bot because we want to build a bot. Then we basically optionally can enter, if we already know our bot endpoint, we can add it into our app settings file or environment file, or leave it blank. And then we have some default questions like showing a loading indicator, if you want to go with a new bot framework bot, or if you want to create go with an existing one. We want to create a new one, or we already have created a new one in Azure, which I'll show in a bit. The name of our bot, then the Microsoft Bot Application ID, and for grabbing this, we'll switch the windows for just 1 second because I have already created a new Azure bot in my Azure portal. So this is my Azure portal in my Azure subscription. I've created a new Azure service called Azure Bot. And from there, what we need to get is the Microsoft App ID. So each Azure bot comes with a Microsoft application or Azure AD application in the backend, and we'll need to grab that ID and paste it in. Then we can also say if we want to add a static tab to our bot or not. So for instance, you can add some kind of introduction phrases or anything in terms of help into that static tab. I won't do that as of now. I also do not want to support file upload to the bot because we have a rather simple demo. And we also do not want to add calling support. So if you would enable that, what the generator would do for you basically is to add to some kind of extended functionality and more lines of code to your bot to make that work out of the box. And after you've basically answered all the questions in there, what it will do is it will generate bot for you. So it will scaffold out the whole project for you. And we won't wait for that because I've already created another one for the sake of time. And we'll directly jump into Visual Studio Code to see how the Yo Teams generator, what the Yo Teams generator did for us. So it scaffolded out a whole project for us. We have a nice little README in there, which explains you how to get started. And also what it has, and that's one of the most important files in there is the environment file, which holds the settings for our Teams application, which is in our case a bot. So it holds the Microsoft App ID, and please don't copy the Microsoft App password. I'll delete it later on as well. So that's the kind of glue between your Teams application and Azure AD, and it also defines default port for local debugging and stuff like that. And also, what it did for you is it created your code base. So we have a new bot in our server folder in there, which is the YoBot or YoBot1bot.ts file, which is basically our bot, which holds all the basic functionality. So it makes sure that the bot will be able to run on your local host if you start debugging it locally or in Azure in the near future. And it will also handle all of the logic like the greeting stuff if a member gets added and stuff. And it also offers us, and that's what I meant earlier by new project template, it offers us functionality of integrating dialogues out of the box. So you have you will have an easy time extending your Yo Teams-based bot with custom dialogues and custom functionality because it's already baked in the default template or default project template, and you just need to kind of refer to how we implemented it into the default template. So as I said, a lot of functionality in there, but in actually to demonstrate you how to start if you have never developed a bot using Yo Teams, it's pretty simple. So after scaffolding has been done, you can basically go ahead and type in gulp build, which will actually build the whole application for you, which usually takes a couple of seconds to do so. And as we see in here, it uses Webpack to build the client, build the server, and stuff like that. And after it has been built, we can go along with the second comment, which is then gulp manifest. And that's a real nice functionality, because what it does now is it will generate the Teams manifest for us. So if you have noticed, it did a short refresh in my Visual Studio Code editor, and it created me a yobot1.zip file, which is actually, if I go ahead and look into my Windows Explorer, which is actually our Teams manifest zipped up and ready to use right away. So this is actually the thing within that zip file, it consists of 2 icon files or image files for the Teams application, and also the manifest, which defines our Microsoft Teams application. And the cool thing now is what I can do. I can go along in my terminal and type in gulp serve to start the bot locally on my machine. And then what I can do is I can switch to my Microsoft Teams web client because I'm logged in onto my desktop client to do the presentation. And then I can go to apps, manage your apps, and I can upload a custom app. And then what I can do is I can pick the zip file, which has been generated by gulp manifest, comment gulp manifest for me, select open, and it will bring me basically my Teams application, and I can add it for me as user right away. And what it will do then is, as I have set up ng-rock running on my local machine, is that Microsoft Teams will now tunnel to my local host. And as you can see, I'm reusing that Azure bot service. So I've already communicated with that bot before. But what I can do now is I can select, for instance, who am I from that adaptive card, and we see it lands on my local host. And basically, I can now communicate with my bot running locally right within Teams. So I can say yes, because I want to see the current Teams context. And it seems that it had some kind of issue right now. So we'll test out if mention me works. Okay, that works. Strange that who am I doesn't work, because usually what it should do is it should grab the Teams context and it should get me my Teams context displayed in here now. There we go. So we see even without the need of authentication, we still get the basic information about the user from the Teams context, like the name, the Teams ID, the email address, and so on and so forth. We also see that the default project template has some functionality baked in, like mention me, to give you kind of an idea what's already possible. So you can chat with your bot in a one-on-one chat, but you can also chat with your bot right within a team or a channel, and you can make use of the add mentions and stuff like that. And that's all baked into the default project template. So yeah, kind of should give you an idea on how to start with your Teams and the Teams bot development per se. And then you can do stuff like integrate the graph, integrate single sign-on from there, which isn't the hard of a task. And we'll try to get that into the docs sooner than later to make Teams development, no matter if it's tabs, bots, messaging extensions, or whatever, a no-brainer for you. And with that, that's
awesome.
It.
Awesome, Stephen. Very, very, perfect timing, actually. Thank you. Really, really cool stuff. I mean, in less than 15 minutes, you showed how to build a bot end to end, and obviously we can do more with it, but that is incredible. Thank you. And I love how encouraging your bot was. It said, hey, head over and let's start building some more features, right? So even the bots in this community know about sharing is caring. So who doesn't love it? All right. Well, thank you again, Stephen. Some links around Stephen's demo is in the chat. Again, awesome stuff, Stephen. Thank you. Let's move into our next presenter, Andre Lager, on Microsoft list formatting, challenges and solutions. So Andre, take it away.
Hey. Okay,
awesome.
So I will try to be fast. There is a lot of content to be presented, so I will be very fast. So my name is Andre Lager. This is my social information itself, and and I work with Office 365 some time. So what is the idea here that I want to present here? So during the range of 1 month, I made some formatting that I want to give some motivation to the person that before they start to use some other application like SharePoint Web Patch, the formatting can give you the UI capabilities itself. And I split it in different type of approach for the formatting. I have formatting. I use it as a laboratories like games that we can create using the lists. I have for presentation the capability of creating design like trees, and also a different solution that we question when we have it, for example, on SharePoint Online. How can I create a discussion board? How can I make a registration of payments? And how can I create, for example, events? And I will try to do it for desktop and also to work it itself on the mobile. So I have different type of formatting that can be copy pasted and to your own solution. It can be even format for the different accounts. So this is the collection of features that was created during these last months. So the first one that I would like to present is the capability, like we have it, for example, for other platforms, to create emotions. So imagine you have a page and you want to create some to that page to include some additional emotions. So you like it, you think this page is interesting. You can create a different type of associations here. And what was done? Basically, I create two type of formatting. One formatting will be able to display the emotions only for that specific user. But I also create a different format that will be able to display the emotions. So in this case, will be on emoji. That you can select, then can be for one or multiple users. The one without the number basically is only for the current user. For that, I create two different type of columns that we can make the management of the emotions associated. And on the right, there is also the code. Other thing that I try also to do is the ability to create a pattern for multiple persons. We always question how to use the multiple person and how we can display a large amount of users itself. For this, I try to create this type of pattern that people can select the blocks of the JSON code that you can use it to fit your own needs. For example, you want to have the multiple person, but you only wanted to have, for example, the color or the first two letters, like we have it out of the box. I try to reformat it that we can duplicate this type of situation itself. Another thing that we also have problems is the capability of, we don't have unlimited space. So I try to reduce it, for example, to display only the first two. And the moment we have more users there, I have a +1, +2, +3. And when they click it, hover, a situation will appear and we will display it. So we have, I'm trying to simulate the current situations that we have it today when we are choosing the people picker with image, without image, and with the colors, and the colors are generated based on the size of the name, and then I make a randomization of the colors itself. I'm able to pick the first letter and the last and the second letter of the title of the user itself, and this is how it appears. And then I have another option that I created is I pick the colors from the Power Apps that is available on Microsoft. There are around 140 colors itself, and then I try to create a subcomponent that the users can copy and try to reuse it on their own customization when they are creating their own solutions itself. As you can see on the GIF, basically I'm able to display all the different options there, and I make a collection that will be used. One thing that I also did, and this is something that I'm going to show later on, is the capability to make filters, because we have 140 colors, but you don't want to display all the colors. So I created a field that is Control F, where you can define the names of the colors that you want to display. The next one is this is the bar option itself. So basically, I just wanted to create a progress bar that was working as an option. We can choose which value you want to associate, and you create the icon that comes from the left side. This will be an offset that can be used, for example, for the quote of the day, what is the current status, what is the option that you want to choose, or even the thermometer. So it's more a visual component that you can use. I'm using as a progress bar, but I also change the color depending on the options itself. And then I have another one that is something that people really like it, and they always question themselves. They want to have a slider. I want to have a slider, and right now there is not that much capability. So I create this component and with a description that will be shared on the list formatting. That basically what I'm doing is to collect. To only display one item from the list view, and I based on the column that will be ordered by ascending. And basically what I do is every time they click on the icon on the top left, the date will be updated, and it always going to return the last date. On this case, the number of the last date. Since the date is always a progressive approach, I'm always rotating the image itself. I also can show it later on. So the next one that I also like to do is the ability to use the Teams deep linking itself. So on this component itself that I created, I try to use the Teams deep link. What I can do with this. So basically, I'm able to define a group title. So I can create a group with predefined users. In this case, I defined 3 users, and I want to have a chat with these specific users. The Teams deep linking is able, if we use the right parameters, you can define the group title. You can even define an initial message, and you can automatically include the 3 users that I predefined on my formatting itself, as it is displayed in the image below. And there is also, of course, on the right, always the format. Now we come to the solutions. One thing that is always very requested is the discussion board. For this component, I try to use the same capabilities that are already out there, plus what we had before. But I try to use it in a more user-friendly approach, giving a title, a description, also the ability to give the votes, and the votes have the same philosophy like it is in the other applications, and also the ability to add text and also add the comments, everything based on the list items itself. Later on, I'm also going to show how this is working, and also include the capability to include emotions on the posting of each discussion itself. That I'm also going to display. The second one of the solutions is the ability to create events, and we make the integration with the calendar itself. As you see, these events have the same capabilities, so starting date, the end date, the calculation of the hours that we're going to do, and also the change of the categorization that will be easily integrated with the different calendar itself, plus something that we can easily identify. As you see, this is very similar with that we already have on the app. And I want to represent the same approach that you have it on your app to be used on the format with the same type of behavior. That's why you have the green bar on the right that I'm going to show how this will appear on the mobile. And the last one is the capability to make payments. One thing that is always important is to have a very good financial education itself. And I use it for the registration of every action, that every buy and every situation that we need to control and to manage our payments. In this case, I define a type of categories, the payment, the description, the amounts, and even some additional amounts that we can do on the top of the current payments itself. For example, I went to the supermarket, but I have to go there by a taxi. So I have the cost of the supermarket, plus I can include some additional costs on the top of that. Also, another demo will be appear. And then we go for the presentation. The goal here is more to promote a visual impact to create moods on the people itself. In this case, I use the geometrical shapes from CSS to create trapezoids and triangles to create a tree look and feel using the format itself. And of course, then I put some goodies on the top regarding the gifts. And now the laboratories. The laboratories is more to give the ability to play around and to give some options that people can be motivated how we can create some manual actions itself. In this case, I created Tic Tac Toe game that basically I have 2 types of options. You can be player red or player yellow, and you can click it and you define each one of the position. So I'm not saving I only saving the option they are already fulfilled, and will be not able to overtake the other ones. So I try to create all these different look and feels for the Tic Tac game. And then I have the last one is also the ability to create the dice and to roll dice. And then I have 2 different users that will run. And every time I roll a dice, the user will go forward and will win or not, and who is going to be the first one option. The idea here is to provide a task evolution. Well, if we think it more, how can it be transformed to your solution to provide a task evolution and inspiration that you can also provide some type of user interaction that people becomes more appealing itself. So for the demo, so just going to jump to my site and there it it is here. And this is my homepage itself. Looks very messy. It's really all the solutions are here. And as I said before, this is the component of the options. And here is the abstraction option. And here is where you can customize it, like creating what is the quote of the day. So how you feel it today, how you feel not that happy, and what is the current status that you can include. The second one is the color picker. As you can see here, if we click, we have the 140 colors that from the Power Apps solutions. And if you see it here, there is a name for each one of the color. But if you don't want to have it 140 colors, is that okay? It's not a problem, because there is also a new option that we can make the filter. And for example, I want to use the red, the cyan, and the gold. And only these three options will be available next time that I want to use it. So I go to the color picker, and I only have three options. I will click it, and the color will automatically update it. The same will happen for, I have other two options that you can use it. And the goal here is everything that I have it here, you can copy paste to your own solution and here adapt to each one of the options itself. Here I have the Christmas tree, and you click on the present, basically you have more information. This is nice as a presentation to create a good mood on the company itself, and that people can easily identify. And then we also have, as is, like I said before, the ability to create games. I have two players. I will start to roll the dice, and they will start to run to see who is the first one. This case was this user, but for example, I want to change the character. I also have a clipboard view that you can display your information as a clipboard approach. But for example, if you want to change the character of the user, you can go there, and now we have the two different type of users. We roll the dice again and see who is going to win, and the unicorn wins again. How we can define emotions? As you see here, I have one icon. I can include another one and another one. As you see, someone else already gave some emotion itself, and the moment he identified that it's me, and this is the first time, I can basically he will count it. I don't want to have my own emotion. I can click it directly there, and it will disappear. The same can be done directly from the pop-up. I also have the capability to have tiles menus that you can display your information in the way that we already know it, and we can at any moment organize them. So we can click it, and basically he can move directly the content. The same from Tic Tac Toe, we can click it here, and as you can see, there are some type of options that are updating itself. So we click it here, and I won. So new game. So the same situation that I presented here, and also the slider. Here is my image from when I went for hiking in the Swiss Alps, and from time to time I like to see and where I went, and will be then my next hike itself. Another option, the same content that I have for the clipboard. What I have done, I use the current capability of the search capability from the formatting. What I'm doing, I'm making search inside the text that I have all my formatting. In this case, I want to identify tags. And what he does, he picks the text and he'll make focus, and he will be able to define a tag. I can click it, and automatically the tag will be available that can be used later on for searching itself. And this is the components, the subcomponents, the abstraction of the components, my laboratory. Now, the solution. Here is the solution that I included. So for the discussion board, as you can see here, we have the ability to define the categories, to associate votes, to, if I like it or not, what is the content. And if I want to use the content to read what was written on the discussion, basically what I have done, I create a pop-up. For me, it's more important that the user is able to do everything in the same page in an easy and straightforward way. They can read the content, they can say, I like it, this is perfect, I will make some research, and I will associate the emotions. At any moment, I can include which options I wanted to have it here. And if I want to know or to make a comment, I can always go directly to the point. I say, I want more information. And I say click. And automatically will be updated the comments. So we can always track it on any time on the discussion board, what is happening, what is the discussion, and what is the current situation. At any moment, we can make a filter. of the content that we have. Then the question of the event mobile. So we have the ability to have the description, what is the content, where is the link for the meeting, where can we change it? We can change, for example, will be a meeting for drinks, we can define as favorites, and why I have this green. So if I click F12, you'll be able to see, so, okay, I have it here. If you use on your mobile phone and you are watching to the SharePoint site, if you make the slide to the left or to the right, you see this start to look like an application. But we are all using only web-based approach. And this is why I use this type of solution that will be for mobile and for desktop. And the last one is the payment. And here is the ability to create different type of payments. I have one for mobile and another for desktop itself. At any moment, we can make the filter because the filter of the date of the payments that we did it. And I just go into for the solution itself. And here we'll be able to see what was the action that we did it for our payments. Here we can make our registration. We can expand and we can have some additional information like what was the amount, how much did you spend. For example, I have to go to the taxi driver and I have to spend 20 francs. Any point that we have it, we can also have more details. The pop-up can also give us the ability if you don't want to use the expand and collapse. At any moment, we can also rate it and we can also include some comments itself regarding that actions itself. And if you see it carefully, we have two different status. We have one status that is pending and one that is paid. What happened? The moment your registration, this doesn't mean that the money already went out from your bank account. So we can define also at any moment that the money went out or still in pending. We made the registration, but it only went out on that moment. We can also define, I don't want to use the currency, but I will use the icon, and also the same for the colors. At any moment, we can go to the colors and we say, I don't want to categorize, I will use the orange. And in a very, very, very fast, because I can even expand it in multiple options, I just wanted to give a small overview of all these solutions that will be available on the list formatting repository with a lot of these features. I still need to include a lot of these solutions, but I just wanted to have a very brief overview of the different capabilities, and to you to think before you start to do some development. Try to see what the formatting can fit for you. We will not have very complex business logics because that will come on the SharePoint lists. What will have it is how you can present it to your customer in a way that can easily be interacted before you even make a development. All this formatting can help you already present your content itself. And David, that is everything for myself, and I hope I was on time.
All right, Andre, wow, that was wait for it, credible, amazing stuff. Lots of things in that list formatting sample gallery. Great stuff, Andre, again. We are going to move on to Natalie and Rio on updates on independent publisher connectors and a GoQR connector demo. Natalie, Rio, take it away.
Great. Thanks, David. Hi, everyone. Good to be back with an update on the Independent Publisher Connector Program. So for those who are new and don't know about this program, this allows anyone to submit a connector to Power Automate, Azure Logic Apps, and Power Apps. So far, we do have 49 connectors in production. This number has not changed since last time I was here 2 weeks ago, because we are having some delays in our certification process. But of course, we should always be thanking and congratulating our outstanding publishers, who you can see all on the right. And of course, a special shout out to our project coordinators who work so hard to make sure that this program is doing well. So right now, we do have 40 connectors in the certification pipeline. We have 8 new ones since the first of this year, so starting off great. A couple of new ones that recently came in are Ecology, Cloverly, submitted by the wonderful Troy Taylor, who has submitted so many connectors to this program, as well as a couple of others. So now I will pass on the screen share and the presentation to Rui, who will be sharing an awesome demo on the GoQR connector.
after we have seen the Andrea demo, mine is like nothing. So really awesome work, Andrea. Really like it. So as you know, you can see all the information about every connector in the connector reference. So I've just created one simple one that generates QR codes. So I'm going to show you a simple demo. Whatever content you put on this text, you click in a button, and guess what happens? A QR code. So you can put the link, and if you scan this link, you can go directly to my LinkedIn. If you have any question related to this or anything else, ping me there. So how have we built this? Very simple. We have a text field. We have a button. This button is going to call the connector with the action create, passing the size of the image and passing the text. Very, very simple, right? So to have access to the connector, as you probably know, we go here to the data, we go add data. In that add data, we have connectors. You just searched for it. GoQR, and then you have it. Very, very simple. Let me show another demo. This one, it's a bit more tricky. So in this content, I'm going to have something, but it's going to generate a PDF behind the scenes. So behind the scenes is going to call a Power Automate based on a template of a Word document. Is going to get this text and is going to embed that QR code in that template. So let's go and see that Power Automate. So I'm receiving a request based on HTTP URL. In this URL, I'm passing what is the value of the QR code. I'm calling the connector, passing the size, passing the data that I just received, populate a Word template, meaning like I have a little placeholder for an image, and now I'm placing that image in, I'm placing the QR code in that image. I'm also changing the text just for us to see that the content that I've passed is showing in that invoice. And that's it. All the rest is just to create a temporary file, to create the Word document, and then convert that Word document into a PDF. And what we return is the binary data of the PDF. So when we go to that screen, we see that the only thing that this button does is to put the content of the text into a variable. And the document source of the PDF reader is my URL of the Power Automate, and now I'm passing the text that I've put it over here. That's it. Very simple. I can use the connector in my Power App and in my Power Automate, embed the content, the binary in any document that I want. Very simple. Now my users can just spend 1 minute and generate any QR code and put it in invoices and pass information in this way. So this was the simple demo that I just wanted to show you. I don't want to make anything complicated. It's really easy to build the custom connector, going to the certification process. Now that connector, it's available to everyone in the world, and now everyone can just use it in Power Apps, in Power Automate. I haven't tested the PVA. That is something that I will do today. So if you want, connect with me in LinkedIn, and you're probably going to see more demos like this going on. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Very, very cool stuff, Rio. Thank you so much for sharing, Natalie, as well. Amazing demos today. All right, well, let's flip back to the slides and we will wrap up for the day. Again, we would love to thank our amazing community, all of you, for attending today and being collaborative, as well as our fantastic presenters, Stephen, Andre, Natalie, and Rio, for the amazing contributions that you give. Again, you guys are just incredible. Thank you so much. The recording will be available in 24 hours at the Microsoft 365 Community YouTube channel, aka.ms/m365pnp/videos, and you can always subscribe so that you get the latest updates as soon as that drops. Who's waiting for Book of Boba Fett. We're all waiting for YouTube for PnP, right? Follow us on Twitter, Microsoft 365 Dev or M365 PnP. Our next general dev call 2 weeks from today, February 3rd, 7 a.m. Pacific time. The next Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework call next week, January 27th, again, 7 a.m. You can get the invites at aka.ms/M365PnP. But we have a number of other valuable community calls as well. As mentioned, the platform call, which will occur next Tuesday, direct from Microsoft, always Microsoft presenters, aka.ms/M365-dev-call. And a number of other opportunities, adaptive cards, Microsoft Identity Platform, Office add-ins, and Power Apps. All of those are available via those URLs. Our 2 PnP Thursday calls, again, the M365 community, which you're on right now. Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework, which occur every other week opposite to this call. Again, all these invites can be available to you, ak.ms/M365PnP. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. Again, you rock. Keep up the amazing work and have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everybody. And thanks, David, for hosting as well. Awesome work. Thank you, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.